Oh, hey, how you doing? I was just thinking, isn't it funny how much that you can see something that's right in front of you and you won't notice it, because the cognitive dissonance it causes is going to be too much. Now, it seems that there's a lot of people that talk about UFOs. UFOs are really hot right now. You can't get on YouTube without seeing a ton of channels talking about UFOs. But there's more than just this one phenomenon. And the great thing about UFOs is you see a light in the sky, you see a black triangle, and then it's just gone, There's no way to track it, no way to see what's going on, really no way to get any verification. So it's a pretty neat thing for people to admit is a real phenomenon. But then you get into stuff that's like, ghosts and all that, and people will see things, then they report things, and it's based on, the credibility of the individual witness, which is fine. I'm totally into that, and there's a lot of really credible people who've seen some relatively incredible things. But the one thing that I've noticed, which is really something, is the missing 411 phenomenon, which they call it missing 411 phenomenon, which is just people disappearing in the wilderness. And because of the internet, and because of the age that we're in, we're able to we can look at these reports from the search and rescue technicians, and that's exactly what David Paulides did. He just started looking at these reports from all these SAR-techs. And you can't really fake people that are missing. You can't really fake dead kids. You can't really fake people being found naked without their shoes on and all this weird stuff that's happening. And it seems to me that once you embrace breach theory, which is the idea that there has to be gates opening, the coral reef model, where it's like our reality brings in a variety of things that can use these gateways to come here. You don't have to worry about Bigfoot being spiritual or paranormal any more than you worry about humans being superpowered because we can fly when we take planes. They're utilizing an existing thing which happens. And I don't know what the solution is, but what I will tell you is that there's definitely people disappearing. And whenever you have a phenomenon that is concrete and solid, and it's, pretty meat and potatoes, it seems to be the missing 411 phenomenon should be getting a lot more play than it does. It should be something that everybody's pretty interested in. And yeah, amongst the coast-to-coast crowd and people who are into this stuff, it does get a lot of play. But not really in the mainstream media. They don't really touch it that much. I don't know why Jesse Michaels or Area 52 or any of these guys haven't had David Paulides on. Maybe they think he's a scam artist. I don't know how he would be, because, it wouldn't be irrelevant. He could basically be a crazy person. It wouldn't matter. These people are still going missing. So that's the kind of stuff that as monster hunters you want to look at. And there's a lot more surprisingly tangible evidence than you might realize that exists out there within this field. And when you start looking at reports, actual reports, like from the regions here in British Columbia, Pitt Lake, you begin to see reports that don't just fit into missing 411 or UFOs or Bigfoot. You start to see stuff that's it's really bizarre. We're talking about valleys, whole areas of land that appear and disappear where they can't find the doorway again. You start hearing about dinosaurs, like actual dinosaurs, which have been seen and sighted. And apparently, I've got to get up to SFU to check it out, they found a couple of giant lizards, and a guy brought them in and dropped them on a table. And UBC went and sent an expedition out, but he couldn't find the valley where he found them. It's almost as if there was some kind of a gateway which opened up and then closed again. So if there are reports that come in, and we know this with the UFO phenomenon, if there are reports that came in that didn't fit the UFO template they were looking for, they would disregard those reports. And I would wonder, if you see Bigfoot, you got someone to talk to. If you see a UFO, you got someone to talk to. But if you just see a dinosaur, you got no one to talk to. Well, other than us here on Sean Hunt Monsters. Go head over to the Discord forum and write down what you saw. And even today now, is it better or worse since we have AI? I'd argue it'd even be worse. Because now no one will believe you. Because it'll be like, oh, you faked that with AI. Whether or not you did, it'll be way easier to believe that truth than it would be to believe that maybe there's some kind of breach that's occurring and there's creatures that are coming through from another world. But like it or not, this is the reality we live in. And we got to look at all the possibilities.